Welcome to the PyKMD Data Input and Preprocessing tab. Here you can upload new data, use previously uploaded data, or select a sample dataset. In this video, we'll walk through the available features so that you can process your data to prepare it for modeling. First, let's look how to load data. If you'd like to upload your own CSV file, you can do that by clicking Upload Data here. When uploading a CSV, your file should have a header row with your column titles and there should be no missing data. Also, your data should be uniformly sampled. In other words, each snapshot should look the same time apart. If you'd like to use data that you've previously uploaded, or one of the sample data sets that we provide, you can select your data from this dropdown. For this demonstration, we're going to load one of the sample data sets. We've loaded the Earth orbit dataset from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This dataset has three columns: R, which is the distance between the Sun and the Earth in kilometers; R dot, which is the difference between the current R value and the previous one in multiples of 100,000 kilometers; and angle, which is measured in degrees. On the right, we can see a preview of the data on the table and its distribution in the histogram. On the left, we can see some more information about the data. There are 731 rows and 3 columns. There are 3 inputs here for downsizing the rows: start, end, and step. The start and end inputs allow you to specify the start and end indices. Please note that the rows are 0 indexed. The step input allows you to skip rows. For example, setting the step to 3 would only keep every 3rd row. Let's say we only want the first year, or 365 days of data. To do this, we can go to end and type in 365. Below, this is the column section. In this case, we'll only keep the R and the angle columns. To remove the R dot column, click this little X here. To finalize our changes to the rows and the columns, we're going to click the Downsize button. When we look at our data, we can see that the R column has very large values. So we will standardize them before doing any computations. This will improve our results and is also the best practice. To standardize this column, we can go to the drop-down menu above the data table. Here we can find a few different options for pre-processing our data. In this case, we'll click Standardize, which will shift to a mean of 0 and a scale of standard deviation of 1. We can also see that the angle column is measured in degrees. However, it is more useful if we have the sine of these angles. To get the sine, we'll go to the Add Columns dropdown. Here we have a few different options for adding columns. We're going to use the Add Custom Columns option, but let's take a look at these other ones too. The first option is to add monomial combinations of our data. You can specify which columns you want to combine and a maximum degree. For example, if we choose R and angle as our columns and a maximum degree of 2, it will add R squared, angle squared, and R times angle. The second option is to add sine and cosine columns. Here you can specify which columns you would like to use and a maximum frequency multiplier. For example, if we choose R as our column and a maximum frequency of 2, it will add sine of R, sine of 2 times R, and the equivalence for cosine. Please note that your columns should be in radians if you're going to use this option. The final option is to use custom columns. Here you can specify a calculation using standard functions. For more details on which functions are supported, please click this link. In this case, we're going to add the sine of our angle. And since our angle is currently in degrees, our calculation will have 2 steps. First, we will convert to radians, and second, we will calculate the sine. We can do this all at once by inputting the following. The function we inputted will be computed on every value in the column. If you'd like to add multiple columns, you can separate them using a semicolon, or you can add them separately. Now we can click Calculate and Add Columns to add the column. Now that we've added our sine column, we really don't need our original angle column, so we can go back to the downsizing inputs and remove it. Our last step on this tab is to split our data into training and testing sets. To specify your train to test ratio, you can either input a decimal into one of the two inputs, or you can drag the handle from right to left. In this case, we will split our data 80-20. To finalize this, we will click Split. Please note that any pre-processing you've done to columns using the dropdowns, such as standardization or detrending, will be recomputed when you split your data. This is to prevent data leakage, which will allow you to assess your models more accurately. Now that our data is fully processed, we can go to the Lifting tab to continue. For more information on how to lift your data, please watch our dedicated Lifting tab video. Thank you for watching, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact our team at apps@aimdyne.com.